Kales is the most eaten vegetable in Nairobi and Kenya at large. It's widely known as Sukuma Wiki. Sukuma Wiki is a Swahili word meaning push the week. A study done by Nairobi University Faculty of Agriculture has shown that Sukuma Wiki grown in the cities, especially in the informal settlements like Kibera, could be contaminated, therefore not safe to eat.
The reality is, if I give you a bigger picture, is that in this city, we depend on very many sources for vegetables. Some of them include vegetables which come from upcountry into the city, and quite a big chunk, maybe roughly 30%, from vegetables produced within the city. I can roughly say and assure you that vegetables coming from the areas away from the city are safe, because farmers grow them in good land, they practice good agricultural practice, and their sole business is mainly that. We are talking of areas which are like up to 30 kilometers from the main city. But however, when it comes to food safety, you are worried about the ones produced within the city. A few of those vegetables are produced in good areas, but quite a large, an amount of percentage are produced in questionable environments. For example, if you go to places like Kibera, you go to places like what we call where the major sewer line is, Kariobangi, you talk of Madara, you have people producing vegetables in rivers which are either contaminated with the two main things. One of them is by broken sewer products, as well as products of material which may be used by freelance artisans.
Freelance artisan. This can deposit heavy metals into the Sukuma Wiki grown near them, hence contamination. But there is yet another way of contamination.
Then the other contamination is sewer. Sewage as a fertilizer in itself is not bad, but the problem is that we don't deal with the treated sewage. We are dealing with sewage that's raw, and it has got some microorganisms that are, for example, E. coli, salmonella products, and others that if peradventure they find themselves in the food chain, they can cause problems.
We talked to Joseph Onyango, who has a small Sukuma Wiki farm in front of his house in Kibera.
Hiyo ni maneno ya watu. Juu hizi sukuma yetu hii tunapanda hapa Kibera, wale wa afya wanakuja wanachukua mpaka wanaenda kupima. Wanapata hii ni fresh kusinda hata ile wanauza sokoni, ile wanauza supermarket.
William Otieno has his one single Sukuma Wiki grown right at his door. He's pretty sure that his Sukuma Wiki is safe to eat.
Ni sukuma nimetumia kama miaka sasa inalekea kwa 6. Sijaona madhara yoyote. Sasa kama mnasema kuna zingine huleta madhara, hiyo sijui.
We ask him if he has ever used sewage water on his plant.
Maji ya mtaro ni chafu, mimi siwezi kupendelea kuweka mkono. Hiyo mwenye kusema hiyo ni kama ni mwenye kutukana tu wenzao tu. Maji ya mtaro hata kama ni wewe unaweza sika maji ya mtaro ukitumia nayo kwa mboga ambao unatumia.
So is it true that some people use sewage water to irrigate their vegetables?
Kibera hatuna sewage. Kibera sisi hatuna sewage. Sewage tuko na mtoni, lakini hiyo mtoni hatutumii. Hiyo mtoni hatutumii maji yake, tunatumia maji zingine kama tuko hapa na kisima. Hiyo maji inatoka juu huko. Sasa hiyo maji tunatumia kuweka kwa sukuma, sio ya sewage. Hata watu wengine wanatumia kuosha vyombo, kukunywa.
At the Kisima, where Joseph gets his water from, we met Henry. Henry, where does this water come from?
Maji inatoka mbele kwa shule pale Lang'ata West ambapo kuna mijengo zinatumia hiyo maji, ambapo ikifika hapa sasa sio maji safe kwa kukunywa ama kutumia kupika, lakini kufua inaweza fua.
Do you think it's dangerous to use on Sukuma Wiki?
Hii maji si hatari kwa sukuma, kwa sababu wakati tunamwagilia kwa sukuma inatumika kama wakati wa jua sukuma ipate maji, ambapo sio matawi inatumika, inakunywa maji, ni roots ambazo zinakunywa maji.
And this guy, David Omari, is just from the shop to buy Sukuma Wiki for lunch. Is he aware of any use of sewage water for irrigation?
Unajua tuko na watu type mbili. Hii watu type mbili, kuna wengine wanamwagia ya sewage, kuna wengine hawamwagiangi ya sewage.
So, if it is true that some people can use this dirty sewage water to irrigate their crops and also grow plants near metal artisan work, what are some of the dangers? What should people worry about?
There could be two kinds of problems. Number one, the heavy metal problem, which is coming from the use of heavy metal that has accumulated either in sewer or because of paint, like lead, cadmium, and even mercury. The kind of problems it may bring, studies have been done, even in Canada and everywhere, that over long time usage could lead to people things like cancer or other metabolic problems that we have never seen. Yeah, when I mean that is issues to do with fertility, issues to do with the cancer, I've already mentioned that, and diseases that we may not be aware of.
Sukuma ya Kibera na kulanga, lakini sionangi kama iko na shida.
No, it's not safe.
Why?
Because wanatumia maji ya sewage sana sana.
Haiko safe vile, sababu unajua hii zenye tumepanda hapa kwa kijiji sana sana huwa zinakuanga na madhara aina mingi. Saa zingine unapata ziko na uchafu, lakini watu wao wanapenda sana sana. Kwanza hii mboga za kijiji hizi tunapanda kwa magunia, huwa wanafurahia.
Sio safe sana. Ile mtu anasave watu si Mungu. Sio.
Mimi nimewaambia watoe wazo kwa ati Sukuma ya Kibera ni mbaya. Juu hii Sukuma ya Kibera hata ladha yenyewe inayo kusinda hizi zingine. Ni tamu.
Anyway, not all Sukuma Wiki eaten in Kibera comes from Kibera. This woman wakes up very early every morning to go and purchase Sukuma Wiki from Toi and Othaya market. Sukuma Wiki that is probably coming from the upcountry.
Nimetoa hapo Othaya, lakini hii ya Kibera ni kidogo, lakini watu wapendake kwa sababu ya wanapitanga kwa sewage hivi. Lakini huku tujui inatokea wapi, lakini ni nyingi tena, itasabu watu wote.
Okay, asante sana. Kwa majina naitwa Joroge Christopher kutoka upande wa Kikuyu, upande ya Remuru, Wagige, ndio tunalima hii mboga. Wateja wangu ni wa kutoka huko pande ya Kibera slums, wengi ni wa kutoka huko, wanakuja wananunua mboga hapa ndio wanaenda kuuza huko.
Yetu natoka Ngong huko Kiserian. Sasa hii sukuma yetu tunakusanya na nini, tunachimba mashimo na maji natoka chini na tunamwaga na nini na mashine. Kwa hivyo hii yetu huwezi ukapata kwa sewage. Na tunajaribu kuweka nini fertilizer ndio inakuwa smart hivi. Sasa mtu atasafikiria ni ya sewage na sio ya sewage.
We talked to the doctor operating in Kibera to find out how often they get cases of food contamination here, and also how to tell that the contamination is caused by Sukuma Wiki or other foods.
We get a lot of diarrheal diseases which we can relate to food contamination. Yeah, well, sometimes we get dysentery, we get typhoid fevers, yeah, and amoeba. We ask them what meal they had last, just to try and establish what could have attributed to that. We could attribute to that food poisoning or food contamination. And like you know, most of our clients here, the low-income group, we get people from the Kibera slums and, okay, even this side, and most of them would have eaten something like sukuma, spinach.
This study conducted by Nairobi University had some recommendations for the government. We then moved to the Minister of Health to see what the government has done with it.
As a Ministry of Health, by and large, I think, by and large, our big issue is about propagating good health. And within the Ministry of Health, we have the Department of Environmental Health, which actually hosts the food safety division, which has got the department and the ministry has got officers who on day-to-day business, they are actually part of their functions is to look at the food safety. And food safety is actually the very wide overall issues, and primarily is the provision of education to the people on issues of food. Of course, we also tune with our colleagues who are in nutrition, of course, giving the nutrition and the safety issues.
The Dean, how would you rank the government's commitment towards food security and safety in this country?
It's relatively good, but not perfect.
So what can people do in the meantime?
Individually, you can do a lot because you are the one sourcing that vegetable. Know your source of vegetable. And once you have gotten your vegetable, how are you going to handle it? How are you going to prepare it? Food preparation, you know, cleaning it and, you know, presenting it to your family. Yeah, we really need to talk to our people about how to handle the food hygienically.
There are very many things that people can do. For example, an institution like this, we are mandated to train. So we can train many people on how to handle food safely. We have a department that is doing that quite well. We can also train people on how to produce food in a safe environment.
The biggest breakthrough is change of behavior. I think that's the thing. If the population understand the consequences and they change behavior towards positive behavior, then we are home and dry. No problem, because then everybody will take responsibility. In any case, I think it would be nice for all of us to understand that health is a responsibility of all of us.
Awareness. The Dean talks about awareness. The doctor talks about awareness. The Minister of Health also talks about awareness. So, who is supposed to champion this awareness? Wino Joshua, KNN, Kibera.